Hi there, I'm Gugulethu, the host of Kaya Biz here on Kaya 959. We broadcast every Monday to Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m. So if you ever feel as though you're looking for more insight and information on the world of business, finance, money, and wealth creation, and how it all really impacts your life, do make sure that you tune in every weekday to make sure that you hear the latest business updates. But if not, technology is a great friend, so feel free to visit our website, www.kaya959.co.za, and you can certainly listen back to many of our rewinds that we have for you on the show. But for many of you who are joining us as well, this is where we also like to give you some insight and some information into how the world of business impacts our lives. And recently we had some good news. As the month of September wrapped up, President Cyril Ramaphosa took to the podium and at one last final family meeting announced that South Africa would be moving to level 1 of the lockdown restrictions. Now, this is great news. It offers us the opportunity to move around a little bit more, taken away some restrictions on travel, and of course encouraged a slight increase in capacity within the number of people that might be able to participate in certain venues and activities, but still being cognizant of the fact that we're looking to minimize the COVID-19 infection rates. Another benefit to level 1, though, is that it really does do wonders for a very key sector of South Africa's economy, the tourism and hospitality space. Now, this is a sector that has previously contributed as much as 10% to South Africa's GDP. Let that sink in. It's a significant number, and that's primarily because of the multiplier effect that takes place in the tourism and hospitality space. If you consider that someone who travels to the country has to book a flight, has to book transfers to their place of accommodation, eat at a variety of eateries, visit sites, visit and interact with individuals, perhaps purchase a few goods and services from our country, use ongoing transfer and transport during that particular time, and even have the opportunity to interact with our informal sector, that's a number of touch points that international tourists have in order to engage with South Africans and continue spending their money in different spaces. So this comes as certainly great news for the South African economy. But some of these battles have not been won quite easily. Let's take a look at the international restrictions that we previously had on South Africa. At the height of the lockdown and in December of 2020, the Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus was discovered in South Africa. Now, it wasn't restricted to the South African environment, but the first few cases were found here, and that caused a slight level of panic with the international market, who then further tightened their travel restrictions on individuals who were flying to their nations from South Africa. And typically these restrictions would entail going through mandatory COVID-19 tests, and if you do happen to make it through to their borders, you'd also have to participate in mandatory self-isolation for a period of up to 14 days. Now, if you consider that self-isolation requires you to book a hotel space, secure your own food, and of course any additional medical requirements, all of that can make the cost of traveling rise up quite substantially. And one particular market which has placed South Africa on the red list and have been fighting to perhaps limit and restrict our travel there has been the UK. The positive element here is that a number of business as well as civil society organizations have formed a lobby group where they've been engaging in intense negotiation and conversations with markets like the UK. And it remains a very key market, primarily because a lot of trade takes place between the UK and South Africa. It's actually one of the largest trading partners that we have within the European Union. So if you consider the number of South African companies that operate in the UK, the number of citizens that have dual citizenship between South Africa and the UK, and the number of business opportunities that have often been explored in this market, you'll understand why it's been a key focus to make sure that we expand on the opportunities that are available there. And what business has been doing is engaging with officials in the UK who have since come about to say that they will remove the restrictions of travel from individuals who come from South Africa. That's great news because it essentially means that the opportunity to continue to grow and to pursue opportunities there will expand given the multiplier effect. So that's a step in the right direction from a level 1 point of view. What's also quite important is to note that when the announcement that South Africa would move to level 1, it also had a positive outcome on the listed hospitality and tourism companies that are listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Consider City Lodge, Sun International and Tsogo Sun. These are hotel groups that many of us might be familiar with. You've either interacted with much of their infrastructure, slept at one of their hotels, or even attended a conference at one of their facilities. And this is important because hotels essentially rely on having individuals walk through their doors, book accommodation, eating at their restaurants, and making use of their conferencing facilities for a day. The challenge is that over the last 16 months, the nights and the days that incorporate bookings have all gone and have been lost. So shareholders have actually shown a great sense of excitement within the share prices of these companies because of the fact that the opening up of the economy brings about a promise that we'll see more travel activity, more business conferences, more weddings, more venues being booked for a variety of activities within the hotel groups in South Africa. So what does this tell us? Well, some good news, because it essentially means that the tourism and hospitality space might continue to see an uptick in activity. Hotels being booked, restaurants being full, conferences being held, and international and local travelers interacting with the local spaces that they choose to travel to, whether it be heritage sites or museums, or going to restaurants and spaces within the urban or peri-urban environment. All of that brings about an opportunity for our economy to recover. But whilst we do that, we need to be certain of one thing: prioritizing the health and safety and well-being of our local and international citizens. So as South Africa officially prepares for its festive season, the summer season in South Africa, things are looking quite optimistic. But of course, our health and our safety remains a priority, and making sure that we continue to see a decrease in the infection rates of COVID-19.